Hello guys, welcome back. So I'm just going to put this out there, and this isn't going to be very long, and I'm sorry not to put this out, but for years I've been thinking that my Mammon isn't Mammon. I know I've talked about him a lot, but the more I go and I visit places, the more I read about him, and the more I relate to mine, I don't think he's Mammon. Um, he looks like, if anything, and looks don't matter, by the way. They can look like absolutely anything they want. So I don't want to confuse the issue of if they don't look like this, they therefore aren't that. Loki can look like absolutely anything. So I couldn't tell you what Loki looks like. And honestly, this isn't just so much the looks, it's just I've always got this vibe that this isn't Mammon I'm speaking to. So maybe that's what I should be stating. He looks like a cross between Dionysus and Hades, is what he looks like. He looks extremely Greek. He looks like the most Greek god that I have ever met, and I work with Greek gods, or I do when they are here and not fighting with the Norse. Usually they can get along, but the Norse gods are kind of pushy in my life. And he looks extremely Greek, whoever this is calling himself Mammon. Sometimes wears a suit, but more often than not, wears this kind of dark gray cowl, I guess, like you would say, like a monk would wear, but I'm associating it a lot more with an underworld deity, is what I'm getting. Very strong underworld vibes from this. I'm getting underworld god from this. Now I know in my research there's some people that will try to shove Mammon into an underworld god slot sideways, and a lot of people do say that he's a deity of wealth and death and everything else, but he's just reading wrong. And the thing is, the problem we're now having is, if Mammon isn't Mammon, then who is Asmodeus? Because they always act towards each other like they're Mammon and Asmodeus. And I said, then who is everybody else? And we're all just sitting around thinking about this carefully now. And I know you guys go, well, what took you a couple of years to figure this one out? I figured it out right away, and Odin wasn't going off. And Odin is a trickster, and so is Loki. So if those two missed it by some chance, which I don't think they did, it's sounds pretty far-fetched for them to miss something, but anything's possible. And I said, he's told me stuff repeatedly, like, don't dig into me, don't look for my background. He's kind of evasive, and I said, that doesn't sound like Mammon. If you look for Mammon's background, people will say that, people will say he was never a literal god or a literal demon, that some demon or god or something saw the name and took it up, and that is who Mammon is, and that other people will say, well, this is an old god XYZ of the underworld, and, they call themselves Mammon now, and it just feels off. And when you tell someone like me that I can't dig and look for information, that sounds pretty suspect to me. And at first I thought he wanted me to respect his privacy, or to learn from him what he wanted me to learn. Fair enough. But when I keep thinking I have to dig, when something keeps telling me you better go out and find this information, I'm like, he's had years to tell me who he actually is. So if this is Mammon, this is us just not getting along, I suppose. And today we had an event, and he said that, I had to choose who I wanted to work with. And he wasn't mad or anything, but he just said it that way. And I said, okay, then I choose, to work with the Norse gods. And again, I'm not really getting Mammon off of him. I'm getting more, I want to say Dionysus or Hades, and that's not even right. I don't think I'm getting Manny, but it's a death deity, or it's a nocturnal deity, is what I'm getting. Hades wouldn't play around, wouldn't play games. In my experience, I've worked with Hades. He wouldn't have years to play games with you. Dionysus wouldn't play games either. He is way too much, in a good way. I mean this in a good way, in love with being Dionysus. He would not play games with you for years for either. So, in most deaf deities won't. They don't have a sense of humor about stuff. See Odin, for example. And I got yep. And, it just doesn't feel like Mammon. And it came up with his response. It was like really cool and logical, but the moment he pulled back, everyone else pulled back. I mean, it was like Asmodeus never existed. It was like everyone else didn't exist either. And I looked at Odin and I said, was he the big boss all along, whoever this was? And he just shrugged. And I thought, well, okay, I'm not going to be working with demons anymore. And I come on, and damn if the prophecy isn't on my splash page when you come onto YouTube. You know, the one with Christopher Walken playing Gabriel. And I'm like, is that the other side talking to me? There's no other side. There's all one side. But is that like God and his angels talking to me? Is that like Satan going, hey, he don't speak for everyone. Hello. I don't know, guys. I don't know, but I don't think my Mammon's Mammon. So there, it's finally out in the open. And, you know, I've visited Reddit demonolatry enough for them to say that if a demon doesn't name themselves, that's sus. But he named himself. And at first, he seemed to be playing very much the Mammon role, but he kept exploding in the hangar, remember? He wasn't operating very well. And then he was here in an advisory role, and I loved him. I was very fond of him. But lately, it's like this death energy is coming closer and closer to the surface. Not in a threatening way, not in a mean way, but a god that I think he feels more logic than he feels emotion. And I've told him before, you know my mouth, that he has a bank box where his heart should be. And I've told Asmodeus the same thing, where Asmodeus is usually highly emotional, but they can also both flip and be very analytical and logical too. So I don't know, but you know, I'm not saying it's over completely with the demons, but I am saying he told me to make a choice, and basically I got kicked off the island. So cheers, achievement unlocked. I guess I didn't do it on purpose, guys. It was just I was having a bad mental health day, and apparently he ain't playing that game, which I was like, okay, no harm done. I was actually kind of frightened for a while, and you know, Odin's the one who had to come find me, and he's like, did he threaten you? I said, he didn't threaten me at all, and that was the thing that scared me. I said, he pulled back in shock. He seemed completely fine, but I said, when he pulled back in shock, it was like I saw something. And I said, he's scary. I said, I thought you were scary? He's 10 times worse. I don't know what he is, but I don't think I want to work with him anymore, and I don't think his name's Mammon. And I'm not afraid of death deities. That's the thing. I've worked with plenty of them. I worked with Lucenta. I've worked with Mammon. I've worked with Hecate. I've never met a death deity that had this effect on me before, but it was like, it wasn't even mad, but it was just, I don't know if I often say they put their skins on. Let me explain this. They put on an image, a personality, a human-like figure for us to relate to. It was like that kind of peeled back and I saw the greater being underneath or something, but it's definitely a death energy, and I at no time was I in any danger, but it was like no. No. So I don't know what it was. It was just not for me. Not like a big fear-based reaction, though I was scared of him. I thought he was going to retaliate. He wasn't even angry. I was in no danger at any time, but you know, something told me, the common sense part of my brain told me, you done did it now. And it was just a reaction on a bad mental health day. And it was nothing I could control. But, you know, given that, we're not going to be working together. But put your thoughts below. You know, what would you think? What deity does that sound like? So go ahead, put your thoughts below. He didn't sound... He just doesn't sound like Mammon. The more I think about it, the less he sounds like Mammon. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe. And before you asked, yes, I have, when I use seals or sigils in the past, just to honor them, not to, you know, call them or anything. He did indeed use Mammon's sigil or sign or whatever you want to call it. So I don't know. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.